Starting that. Okay. Are you ready?
Oh, you're going to make me do the intro, aren't you?
You always do the intro. That's what you're here for.
And to bitch about people fucking you in the ass.
I like it. Okay, so this is the music if you want to hear it for a second. Wait, that needs to back up. Back that ass up. I wanted to do that, but I didn't have any time. This is too loud.
We have Halloween decorations.
Where?
Should be wearing masks.
We have the skulls that light up and sing, and we have the fog machine guy.
Okay, well we could put that in here.
We'd have to go put
Fog machine guy. What do you mean?
Oh, I think he was broken though, wasn't he?
Oh, that piece of shit I bought. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
We
I threw that away.
that scream.
That's just annoying.
We need to put it up so Paul can experience.
We'll put it up in the front.
Yeah.
In the front.
In the front. Every time the girl barks, it goes.
It plays music actually. It goes.
And it screams
That's
too.
great. Yeah.
So this sounds a little
Keep that
better
as
today.
far away.
It's
It
not.
does?
Yeah, it's not so robot-y.
I noticed
normally
that
is.
my echo is less.
That's what I mean.
You know.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay. You ready? They need to write something. Yes?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what to write. Ooh, Welcome to the Manguno Drive Show. Today's show being brought to you by the letters XYZ. And tonight we are talking, it's our special Halloween show. So we'll be talking about some fun Halloween festive events. Plus we'll take a look at what happened to all of us this week and generally bitch about other Halloween related items. So welcome.
Yay! Hello, folks. Oh, hey! I need to get rid of that, don't I?
Get rid of that.
Stop that.
So today
That was
is
Tony. That's a pretty good scream.
Sunday.
I was trying to tone it down.
Tony it down.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Halloween special, everybody. I only call it the Halloween special just because Halloween's coming up. I don't really have much special to talk about. Halloween's my favorite holiday, though.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering.
I enjoy Halloween myself. Yes.
Why? Because you get to to dress and drag?
I haven't dressed up in a very very long time, but it's that freedom that you can just leave the house and be evil, and no one really pays you any attention.
Are you
Okay.
doing that this year?
I do that a lot of times. Middle of the night, go walking around the neighborhood, creeping in on people's windows and everything. So, but no, there's just that freedom. I guess you get outside and you can just feel the energy in people just wanting to cut up and act rambunctious and all. And so,
Which we saw last night. We actually went, Tony and I went to a show, which we saw. That's what you do with shows, is you see them.
Watch them.
And when we went to dinner afterward, and outside it was really weird. It kind of felt like I was back in New Orleans for a second, because there was a lot of just kind of like, woohoo, dude, look at me, wow, I'm dressed like a banana.
Or not dressed like anything in particular, just painted and wrapped in a boa. Like.
Well, here's the thing. We've talked a little bit about this before, but we've noticed that, speaking of costumes, like what about Halloween costumes? It used to be that, like, you could be a pirate, you could be an astronaut, you could be, I don't know, a big pile of dung, whatever. But there is that. You have to go check it out. There's the big pile of dung costume. But now, in recent years, what I've noticed, and then maybe this is another sign that I'm just getting too old now, but it's now there's sexy pirate, there's sexy doctor, there's sexy lawyer, there's sexy
There's-
pile of dung, which I don't really.
There's a
No, you
whole
can't do that.
regime of like sexy, you know.
But that's it. Like it's like it used to be play the character. Now it's
I
play
think
the
I
sexy
actually
character.
saw sexy CPA in one. So it's like,
Sexy CPA.
I saw an ad for a costume that was sexy Chinese takeout.
Are you kidding?
It was the most racist thing. Look it up.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sexy Chinese takeout. I'm gonna look it up.
fortune cookie now? You bad boy.
So what do you think, Tony? Are we going to be putting the light on outside, inviting all the little kitties into the house for Halloween?
I say we sick Tootsie on them.
Oh. Well, last year we were in Portland, I believe, and then
You don't want people coming to your front door in Portland.
I will be working. Do you see it?
I do.
Isn't that
Here's
horrible?
here's the sexy Chinese takeout. I see it comes when I see that's kind of cool. I mean, it does come with a Oh, look what I'm
It
Wow.
says thank
going
you.
in on here. Thank you right there in the
I
front
like
where
that.
the puss would be. You got thank you there. What's nice is it comes with a very nice purse actually. You've got the takeout purse there. See what I expected.
You would wear that, wouldn't you? If we got that for you.
Well, maybe if if the purse was filled with rice.
Okay. Do people give out rice during Halloween? Maybe we should do that. See, there's an idea. Instead of the thing is, we're not big fans of children in general. So it's like, we don't want children coming to the door and just be like, candy. And that's how they talk like normally. But
Too often.
what happens is, see them in the stores all the time, covered in chocolate, and it's just that's that smell that I just can't stand. It's just that kid covered in chocolate smell. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like it just smells like caked on gaudy nastiness, and I just can't deal with it. I cannot deal with it.
I usually don't smell children that often. But
Oh, you can smell them coming, but
can?
yeah, but
I usually hear them coming.
that's when you're
I had a thought.
okay.
Well, because
I forgot what I was saying.
I see a lot of children. I remember, but hold on.
All right.
So one thing that does annoy me about children is that annoying high pitched voice and how they
And
Don't-
how they have
they
absolutely
just
no
don't sound
body.
intelligent, you know? And part of me thinks that you know how when there's a baby, like you can't just talk to the baby like it's a human being. You have to be like, "Oh, Gigi Boogie got mama. Oh, you rolled over, money, money." And that's how you hear people talk to their children. Do you think if people would just talk to their children like they're adults, that children would learn quicker and
Well,
have a decent
I talk to
tone
all
in
of my
their
kids.
voice?
Like I didn't use the baby voice with any of them. I mean, if they did something, I would just look down at them like, "Wow, you rolled over. Good for you. You want a fucking cookie about it?" Or
Yeah, it's just like when a child can't say spaghetti. It's
Spaghetti.
probably
Yeah.
because their mother didn't say spaghetti correctly.
Well, do you think their mother said spaghettis?
Plus the fact that
No,
the parents
but-
reinforce it when they say something incorrectly, and because they think it's so cute, so they make the child repeat it for grandma, repeat it for nanny, repeat it for everybody in the family,
Yeah.
so that they can hear you do it, and then the child's like, okay, well, this is the special way of doing it. I'm gonna
I
do
guess
it.
it goes along with what we see a lot, where it's just like you're having a conversation with your 1-year-old who clearly doesn't understand a damn thing you're saying.
Right.
So, we're gonna go on the plane. We're gonna go on the plane. The child has no idea.
Well, I've said it many a time, and I think it's depressing, and I think maybe this is one of the reasons why I'm not in any rush to have any children. It's maybe because I think everyone turns into that person, because I do it with the dog. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, is it time for dinner? Yeah, you like the dinner? Let's go. I know I have to be careful about saying that because she'll want it. But I guess what I'm getting at though is it's like your child. It seems like everyone's child becomes like a toy. It's like it's an adult's toy, and it's a little bit creepy to me. You know, and
Well, I think children have always been a fashion accessory for a lot of people, like the women who carry the little tiny dogs in their purses and things like that. Just, I mean, that's always been, I'm going to get married at 18. I'm going to have a child by 20, and then
yeah.
I'm going to be the trophy wife and all that. A child is an accessory in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, Facebook's made it even worse too. It's like it's like every time I go on the Facebook, I call it the Facebook now still because I'm an old man. But it's filled with people people can't wait to take pictures of their child and put it on Facebook. They've got pictures of their child before they were even born on there. So it's just you've got
That
frog
freaks me out.
weird looking frog pictures on there of people's fetusi. But it's creepy.
What
It's
pisses
just
me
creepy.
off too is that they'll take a picture of the sonogram or whatever and to show the sex of the child. Look, we're having a boy. Look, you can see his little turtle. I can't show my penis on Facebook now. It's like, but
Not
20,
anymore. Now that you had to
40
register.
years ago, you could take a look at it all you want.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the dividing line there? I don't
My
know.
thing with
Yeah,
children.
Holden was too old to be naked in public. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, we were in IKEA the other day, and it was like some kid came in the
Oh my
bathroom
God, I
with their
remember that.
sister, and it was the weirdest thing because we're peeing at the urinals, and suddenly there's these two kids just watching us pee.
And
It's like
they're standing there with the door open. They're just looking at us, and we're like turned around. And I swear to God, I could have heard one of the kids go, "See."
they have the same things you do.
See, white men have smaller.
But no, I mean, it's to backtrack several times here. The thing is, like, I think it's much more what you were talking about, Tony. It's like it's much more for the people around, and that's what annoys me. I think in public, when people are talking
Yeah,
to the
it's
kids
not
like that.
the
It's not
the
for me.
children. It's
Like I'm just trying to win Parent of the Year by saying, look, that's A. Does aardvark start with A? That's right. Aardvark starts with A, and it's like,
Swedish
they're
now,
not
too.
doing this at home with their child. At home, it's, shut the fuck up, turn the TV off, but in public, it's like, I'm a really good parent because I talk to my, and it's really weird because I've actually seen people ask questions to their kids that are old enough to talk back to them, and they'll answer the question, but the parent doesn't hear the answer because they're still asking the question over and over again just for the benefit of everybody in the airplane or wherever it is this is going on. And it just it bugs me. Yeah. And I
agree.
think okay, we'll take a vote. What was I talking about before?
You were talking about children coming to the
This is
door
what
and
you're
getting
here for.
candy.
Yeah, I was thinking, what if we did this thing where instead of like having candy, like we just like instead of just sending them away, why don't we let them come to the door, but we just give them like boring ass shit that they're never going to want to come back. You know what I mean?
Paper
Just
clips.
teach them their lesson.
Or invite them in.
I like that.
I was telling him the other night.
Sit
We need
down.
to-
We got some kitty porn up on the.
We need to give them all glamorizers. That way they can terrorize their little
Dude.
brothers and sisters with the little sharp edges.
No, it's just like, oh, why are you visiting? Okay, well, come in. And just,
Come on in, kid. Have a seat.
yeah, just see what the parents do. Like, you're sending your children
Who
to
are you
street
voting for?
houses.
See, that's the kind of neighborhood we live in, though. It's like they're gonna be coming. They're gonna be trick or treat. They're gonna be Romney or Obama.
That would be a great idea. Thinking of that for a haunted house, a house of shock,
Uh-huh.
the house of Republicans, and just let them go in, or I don't know. Both sides can do it. You can have the house of Democrats where everybody's in there and stoned and taking money out of each other's pockets, which is basically what a haunted house is anyway. But you could really have a political haunted house.
No, you're not into the haunted houses. I think we talked about this the
Eh.
other day. See, I kind of like them.
I like them.
They were kind of fun when they were a kid, but it's just it depends on what it is. I grew out of that a lot because being in the theatrical background, I can tell when people
It's
are
like-
when people are bullshitting you.
I do this every day. Why would I go to a?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I always wanted to work at a haunted house.
It should be fun. I remember I had friends who have done it. I have friends who created them actually out in Florida, and they, they're, I think they're much more fun for people who are more artistic than I am, like physically artistic. You know what I mean? Like I can't sculpt, I can't paper mache even, and I think people who can create that kind of stuff, it's really cool for them because they
That's
can
what I-
make bats and they can make skeletons and
Right.
things like that.
That's the
So
only thing I really liked about the haunted house when people actually did something artistic and I could look at something that looked like a body and like, wow, that's really authentic.
yeah,
You know, I mean, that was the only thing I went there for was to see their quality of crafts. And
yeah.
a lot of times you're disappointed.
So you're not there to just get the shit scared out of you, then? Huh?
They hardly ever scare the hell out of me. You know.
You need a plug again. She's always running out of power.
I suck at this.
I'm sorry. I think mine's in the living room. You can go grab it if you want.
Nah.
So anyway, I want to point out on the I think I'm getting you this for a present
Sexy
sexy
Chinese takeout.
takeout here. You
If
know,
she won't wear it, I will.
what's got the little Betty Page.
Oh my
kind
God,
of
the
Page
fortune
Boy-
cookie hat.
Oh
that is
my!
so adorable.
I noticed that. Yeah,
It's like
got
a
fortune
giant
cookie hat.
clitoris on her head. Look at that. Look at that look on her face too. Who actually?
That's her Asian impression.
Oh,
That's the problem is that you're like gonna be
I
looking,
wonder if they'll
getting your
send you,
head
like,
licked
some
all
masking
night
tape
long.
so you can actually fold your eyes up. You know, when you put it on.
Oh.
God, I'm so horny. Well, and it's just I like this website because it's one of those things where you can zoom on into it's like when you buy a piece of electronic or something like that. A piece of electronic. Who the hell am I? What am I, fucking 80? When you buy an electronic device, you can actually zoom in to see the closer detail. It does that here, and so you can actually
I love how it's got "enjoy" written
it's
on the tits.
there's
What's on her back?
an enjoy on each breast here. It's actually says in the back, it says "Take me out." So I see, take out.
See, that would have been better if they would have put in just "take me" and then put "out" underneath.
Well,
That way, it's a double entendre.
there you go. You could maybe they can incorporate that for next year. You should
They
you
should.
should
Well, there's a
suggest that.
site that I saw that in that was like the 25 most politically incorrect Halloween costumes of the
Those
year.
are the most popular ones. So why is there only 25? There should be
See
100
I don't agree. See, I don't see what's racist about this. Chinese takeout exists. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this, she's just a box. She's just being a box.
Yeah. It was like, no.
Yeah, well, the only problem is, I mean, you could date her and take her out, and then you'd be hungry again in 30 minutes. So
That's good. That's good. I'll keep that. So Halloween's coming up. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to.
what was your? Did you ever dress up? What was your most memorable costume that you did?
I think my favorite was I did Mad Scientist one year, and it was really funny because I went to a costume party. So what I did was I just found as much just slimy, crappy, glow in the dark, nasty shit as I possibly could. So I just had
Which in Raceland was laying around everywhere.
yeah, it was just lying out on the streets. So it was just anything that would glow in the dark and would be slimy. And also I just got a big pocket full of eyeballs. And so I went to the costume party, and I didn't really talk to anybody. I just kind of went around handing them things. Here's an eyeball. There you go. Here's an eyeball. Here's a piece of slime. Here's an ear covered in slime.
Just hand out used tissues to everybody.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here.
Had little body parts covered in slime. It was nice. It was fun.
That's funny.
I don't know. I think that's probably the only costume party I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't get invited to very many things. I don't know. I think it's because I'm an atheist.
People don't like you.
I think so. Yeah. But
If someone invites us to a costume party, I'll wear Chinese takeout.
I think it's good. It's a good price. It's $38.99 on this site.
Wow.
So
I think we should take up a collection online.
Well, the
Everybody wants
thing
to see
is-
Tony in the Chinese takeout.
this is something you can wear year round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's now do the shoes come with it?
Probably not.
No, those look
We'll
pretty
get you some
standard there.
Fuck me heels. Yeah, those are easy to find.
What makes you think I don't have some?
I've been through your closet.
Oh, you've been in the closet.
Tried on a lot of
Wow,
your things
okay.
in your closet.
So, what are you wearing this Halloween?
A chef coat?
Oh, you're working.
Yeah.
Yeah, she works all the time.
Yeah, well,
Need to stop doing that.
hooker's got a hook.
However,
I know.
I'm sure I will see lots of different Halloween costumes and report back next week.
Okay.
Oh yeah, when I was in the store this week, they had a nice little redneck family that came through, and all their kids were already wearing their Halloween costume. It was like a week before Halloween, and
Did I tell you last year that I had smacked Batman in the face and made him cry?
No, you
At
didn't.
work?
but we did see Batman get his ass kicked on television the other day. That was kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, no, I worked Halloween last year as well, and there was a kid dressed as Batman um, in my audience right front and center, and I knocked something off the counter, like the freebie box, which is just a plastic box, the lid, and it smacked him in the face, and it made him cry. And it was weird because I'm
Sounds
sitting
like a
there
regular
like,
day.
yeah,
Batman just can't take a punch anymore.
Batman can't handle it.
Yeah.
Now, when you hit him, did you notice like above your head just this big starburst thing that said "Bam" or "Pow"
That
Or-
would have been fun.
or "Zap"? Or
Unfortunately, no.
no, see, why can't we live in cartoons? So you sound better this week, Tony, because you have a new microphone.
I do. Thanks, guys.
Yay! Now
I'm
we're
also talking into it because you told me I had
yeah,
to do
yeah.
that.
Did last week, listening to the playback last week was a little bit difficult. Like we were all in the other room, so we have to utilize the technology
Well,
and
I'm
make sure
always
that we
worried
actually.
because when I called in during the first one, I was 8 times louder than the rest of you.
Yeah,
so-
but you're not on the phone. It's all right. I can fix it. So the studio's growing a little bit, and getting new equipment and stuff like that.
Although we still accept donations.
Yes. Well, I was gonna get that. That was my segue. See my cute little
I'm
segue.
sorry.
It's like so we can continue to grow, if we if we continue to build the audience. So now they're out there. I've been looking at statistics for the show, and oddly, we're getting quite a little following in Japan. I don't know why, but there's a little trickling in of Japan listeners. But
They're trying to learn English by watching our
I
podcast.
guess so. I'm not the best person to be learning it from. But now they know how to say Chinese takeout. Sexy Chinese takeout.
Oh, that's racist. I know. Watch out the war.
Exactly. So I know you guys are listening. But what's going to help is if you actually let us know that you're listening by going to what you can do is go to iTunes, which helps, and hit the subscribe button there, which will kind of give you the podcast every week. Also, if you go over to the YouTube page,
Is that what
the
you
YouTube page is what I meant. It's Manguno Drive Show. And hit the subscribe button on there as well. And if you do go to the YouTube page, you can also check out the videos from the trip that we had up there. I actually realized I had a couple more that I need to put up on there. Actually, there was
You
stuff.
checked them right to make sure that they were all PG-13.
Well, I'm not promising anything. It's a new wave in entertainment here. I like this whole non-censorship. We might as well take advantage of it before the Republicans get to that too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
'Cause we'll all be Bible thumping after that. Forget about it.
I'm surprised. I have to say to turn the conversation to the religious side of things. I'm a little bit mystified, really, like, because there's a lot of my friends, and I won't name names or anything like that, but I mean, there's a lot of my friends that I kind of grew up with that were pretty, even at the time, were a little bit anti-religion, a little on the atheist side, even more than I was at the time. I mean, I kind of jumped off the cliff in the last few years. But I'm looking, especially, of course, on Facebook, because you get all your information from Facebook. I'm looking on Facebook, and like everybody's like posting pictures of Jesus, and like so many people are just so freaking religious now all of a sudden. Like even people that didn't used to be. Like I see it, I totally understand it from one side of the coin. I see like the people who kind of start there, and then as kind of life goes on, and they realize that God's not gonna help them to do anything because God doesn't exist. I can see someone kind of leaping off the cliff to atheism, but I just don't see people jumping on the bandwagon. It's really, really weird to me, and I kind of feel like I'm living in this weird sort of like surrealistic kind of environment. Again, a little scared.
So you're saying we're not getting Jesus on the show?
No, I don't think we're gonna be having to do that. Well, I have calls out to his peeps, but no one seems to want to call me back. It's really odd, So I guess I have to get people to pray for me and waste time doing that too. I guess.
As far as the whole Facebook thing, People put any kind of crap on their page.
I guess, but it was interesting to me because there was one person that I saw on Facebook today actually that now this is different. Like this person's always as long as I've known them, and I had to have known them for at least 10, 15 years at this point. And they've always been very religious, always very devout, very, whatever. And one of their postings today was all this talk about The Walking Dead, that show that you watch. And it's like, I'm just like, it's an interesting to me to see that kind of, I'm not saying that Christians can't watch television. It's just, it's an interesting, I just don't see the whole idea of zombies being a very Christian idea. You know what I mean?
There's
Like the only Walking Dead Christians should believe in is Jesus Christ, which doesn't seem to really make much sense to me. Exactly.
I don't know. There's a lot of religious aspects when you deal with the whole zombie apocalypse kind of thing, because you got to think about that. Because a lot of people will that quote the Bible, quote how the dead will actually rise out of the graves to be and during the rapture, the resurrection, or whatever they call that. But they don't ever mention that these dead are going to take bites out of people while they're doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, is the whole like is there a religious like sentiment to like Halloween too? Like, where does that holiday come from?
Halloween, like all of the major ceremonies that what am I trying to say here?
Well, it's a different religion. It's not.
They all come from the pagan religions. They all celebrating different times of the year. The harvest, and the equinox, and things like that. And Halloween was part of that. It's just a pagan
Well, tomorrow
ritual.
is all
so
Saints
it's pagan
Day.
then, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So,
and then the Christians that came along, and it's like, well, all these people who don't recognize Christianity, they're celebrating these religions, and we need to get them under our umbrella, so to speak. So we're going to accept their rituals and everything, and we're going to make them Christian rituals, and that way they'll come into the Christianity fold. That's where a lot of that started.
It's
Christmas,
a Christian ruse.
The celebration of Easter, I think, was something to do with that. I don't know.
Whatever. Enough Jesus talk.
Thanksgiving, I think, was the only holiday that was actually for something that really existed, like the pilgrims giving thanks for whatever or something like that. But
do you think it's that because the world's ending this year, everybody feels like they better side with the holy guy, and just in case, or
I don't believe that the world is ever going to end. Because why, if there is a God, if there is some sort of ultimate power in the world who's watching us and who's laying out the path for us, or whatever they call that, why would he stop really getting his nut off on watching us suffer so badly year after year? Why would he stop that?
I get bored of it, I guess. I don't know. Move on to the next planet.
I mean, the only thing I can imagine is come December 21st or whenever it is, it's going to get worse. So
could be that. We're actually at the dawning of the age of Aquarius. It's that the song is becoming true.
If that song comes back, that would make things worse.
That would be nice. It will. Actually, I didn't think about it until just now. It will. You remember how like party like it's 1999, you couldn't freaking get away from that song when it was actually 1999. Now that's what it's going to be. It's going to be dawning of age of Aquarius this year. Because it actually is. Like, we're now moving into the age of Aquarius is what 2012
no one thought
signifies.
it would happen.
So, I don't know. We went to this is a nice segue too. Tony was in Canada recently. Weren't you? That was you, right?
I was there.
Yeah, and I went up there and visited. So I spent a little time in the old Canada. And
well, we were in, just to clarificate, British Columbia.
British Columbia.
In
Which is in Canada. What?
The good old BC.
Good old BC. Now, I have questions for you about that, too, since you're my historical reference today. But anyway, we were up there at another space center. It's my new thing is to check out space centers.
Oh, man.
And they're actually having on December, whatever it is, December 12th or 24th or whatever, whenever the world's ending this year, they're actually having, like, an actual, like, planetarium show that night, like, at that time, just to kind of prove that nothing's going to happen, I just liked it. I just like the scientists getting together and having a party on the day
Well,
that
they're gonna, yeah, they're gonna,
What would
like,
be fun is if the scientists dressed up like Mayans and come running through the auditorium. And like,
well, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're like simulating like, what would it look like if what they're saying will happen.
Yeah, it's based on the Mayan stuff.
So
It's
like it's going
it's
to happen
educational.
in that planetarium. It's
It's
pretty interesting.
yeah, so it's educational about the
But we'll
Mayan
see if they,
calendar and all that
you know,
stuff. Yeah.
have an Italian accent or.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Worst movie ever. What was this place even called?
I don't know because everyone we asked, we're like, "Oh, we went to the space center." They're like, what?
They didn't even know it was there.
We have a space center? What?
Yeah. Apparently in Vancouver, what there is to do, it was funny because I actually looked up things to do. I was there for a day, so I was like, okay, let's see what's there to do in Vancouver. And like there were 5 things, the top 5 things to do in Vancouver. Number 1, hike. Number 2, walk. Number 3, bird watch.
And People Watch was on there.
People
Sit
watch.
down for a little while.
Rest before your next hike.
One of it was like hold hands while strolling through this one.
Walking
street or
across
something.
through the park,
And people watching was on the top 5 things to do.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not exactly the most exciting city in the world, but it's cool. I really liked it.
I love Vancouver.
Here's my description of Canada in general, or at least Vancouver. I haven't really seen a whole lot of the rest of Canada, but here's my description of Vancouver: is that it's just like the U.S., but when something breaks, they fix it. That's the only difference I found. Because well, the thing is, it's like I was driving it was sort of dusky, and so it was getting dark and what do you call them? Like there's these little lights that are down the middle of the highway. It's just kind of
The reflectors?
yeah. Well, they're not reflectors. They're actually lights. They're actually little light bulbs.
They put lights in the road? What's wrong
Yeah,
with
it's
these
in the
fucking
middle of the
people?
road, shows you where to go, and not everywhere, but just like where I was, it was kind of confusing. So they're kind of dictating like, well, drive this way and take this exit or whatever.
That's weird.
So there's all these little lights. Well, you see, that's it. You probably never noticed it here because we don't fucking replace our light bulbs when something goes out.
Well, we don't put lights in the road. That's electricity and shocking and,
But just all of their signs, like it says the full word instead of like Almar.
Are they Walmarts up there? Osco, George Liquor. No, it's just everywhere you go, if there's something mechanical or if there's some sort of light that's supposed to signify something, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. And I just find that we don't do that here. It's just, I find that if something breaks, people look up at it and go, I gotta get the ladder out. Fuck that.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, you gotta pay someone to do that. Then you gotta find the money to pay that person to do that. Then
Right.
they gotta be qualified to do that. Then they have to be tested to make sure they know how to do what they're qualified to do. And
Yeah, it's an efficient place.
a lot of bureaucracy here, versus
guess.
Canada, where they just tell a Mountie to go do it, and he goes and
The Mounties, they do everything, don't they? I didn't see any Mounties when I was up there.
Vancouver is pretty, I don't know. I don't want to say Americanized, but it's.
Well, they let me use American money. They blew my mind because this one woman gave me change in both Canadian coins and American coins at the same time, and that just blew my mind. I was
That's
like,
just
oh,
weird.
okay, how could she do the math on that? But whatever works. Had one of the coolest things. They make a well, you really like the big pile of mush they make up there, right?
Yeah, I am a poutine fan.
She said poo.
Poutine, which is which I had some last night, and it was not nearly as.
See,
amazing.
again though, that was in the States. See, the quality is
Yeah.
just not,
Well, I think this is just traditional, like Canada. It's traditional Canadian poutine, which is. Do you know what that is?
nope.
Okay, so
Sounds
it's
kinky,
French
though.
fries
poutine.
Okay.
We'll look it up.
French-
covered in a vegetarian gravy
Hmm.
with cheese curds, and it's so good.
What exactly is a cheese
What's
curd?
a cheese curd? Yeah, that's
Well, it's kind
that's
of
like cheese that hasn't fully hardened, right? It's
mushy
still
cheese, yeah.
okay.
Mushy cheese?
Well, when you
See,
It looks like that.
these
when
look
you put a milk
like
through the-
cheese kernels.
yeah, it's kind of like that, but
This is poutine right there.
yeah,
There you go.
That looks
However, it should be covered in gravy.
Well, there's gravy on the
Oh, I
bottom
see.
right there, but
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's Tim Hortons coffee and donuts, which I'm a huge fan of
now
as
I did
well.
go there. I have to agree. It's pretty freaking awesome. Like
Wow,
it looks like
Seattle
nothing
people
from.
that like Canadian coffee.
Well, it's like Dunkin' Donuts, but like good.
Well, it again, they just it's sort of like we were talking about like Apple versus, Microsoft. It's like Apple will come out with this really really cool idea and then Microsoft will steal that idea and make it better and like do it in a more efficient way
The
or
American
more
way of doing
or
things,
cheaper
yeah.
way or something like that. It's the same thing. It's like everything we have here, but they just did it nicer. Because it's like this place is like, yeah, essentially it's a donut shop, but I have never been into a donut shop that looked so just inviting because all of their glaze was gleaming in the light and the chocolate was very, I want to eat it, and um and
And
you
they also do sandwiches and soup.
right,
and
you
really good
quickly
coffee
realize they've
and-
got everything there.
Yeah.
You can eat there 3 times, 3 times during the day, and it's affordable, and it's yeah, I like the
So
Tim
it's the
Horton. It
same
was kind
thing
of cool.
that you can get in the U.S. They just do it better.
Oh yeah, yeah, or just all in one place. Because I mean,
It's-
you go into a Starbucks, you're pretty limited to what you can eat. You know what I mean? They only
kinda like
recently
this.
and like added like breakfast things or bagels or whatnot, but they've got it all.
Hmm.
It's
Pretty
very
cool.
good. From what
Reminds
I
me of-
hear, it's the Starbucks of Canada. Like people
Mm.
don't go there. They go to Tim Hortons. So,
Oh.
and it's not only there. They brought it down to the States. The first time I ever experienced Tim Hortons was in Columbus, Ohio. It's the only place I've ever found it so far in the States, and I hear there's one in Buffalo as well. So it's crossing the border,
They're bringing it down. I like that.
Mhm.
That's
They're
dangerous
invading.
for
but
me.
we're so close to Vancouver. I'm just very surprised that we don't have it yet.
Well, Seattle is a Starbucks city. I mean,
Yeah, because there isn't
I'm sure
nearly
there's
enough
Starbucks
coffee.
agents on the border waiting for those people to come across with coffee products, and they'll shoot them on
Yeah.
site.
Well, the coffee's good, I think, but it's the donuts that really take the cake.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was waiting for that awkward moment.
Well, I didn't want to say it. 'Cause
It's the donuts that take the cake. Um.
Doo-doo.
So I don't know. It's kind of cool. It makes me. Things are kind of fucked up in our country right now. And it's a little bit scary. It's interesting being in a place like that. Like I just wanna. It makes you want to stay. It really does. It's like I could deal with everyone saying a after every sentence they say. If that's the only thing I could deal with, because like it's just people were nicer. And I don't know if that's just living in Seattle or if that's living in the U.S. in general, but like
They're pretty welcoming.
yeah, they're pretty. I didn't feel out of place, because you hear about that. You hear about like, oh, stupid Americans, but no one ever called me a stupid American, and
At least to your face.
no, I guess yeah,
A.
yeah. I guess that's the thing too. Is like when you have that kind of accent, like there's no way you can be mean. To someone who sounds like that. Hey, how you doing there, eh? Like, hey, why don't you go fuck yourself there, eh? It's like it's the nicest. Oh, that was the nicest. That's the nicest fuck off I've ever
You get a
heard.
good comeback when you follow everything up with "eh."
Well, it's very close to Irish. Just
Except Irish could tell you to go fuck yourself.
like a
Yeah,
pissy
yeah, right.
leprechaun, still isn't too much.
Hey, why don't you go fuck yourself there, eh?
No, but with the accents at the planetarium we saw, who's the guy?
I don't know. What do you mean? Oh. We saw a. You're talking about the horrible movie. We saw a
Yeah.
horrible planetarium movie. I don't know. I guess that's every planetarium movie, I suppose. But about Galileo.
Yeah, Galilee.
Now, what's interesting about this was that I didn't realize it right away, because they got the costuming right and the ambiance was right. We're sitting there in Venice, and there are big, tall buildings around us. It was pretty cool. I like a big movie over my head like that. But the guy opens his mouth and starts talking. His daughter's interviewing him. Hey, father, why don't you tell us about your new telescope? And he's just starting. He's like, well, they're, that telescope that I just created there here in Venice. It's really great. It's just like
And the daughter was even worse.
the first thing I did was
Tell me,
lean down.
Daddy.
Yeah, I was like, this was first. I leaned over. The first thing I said, it was like, well, I thought that Galileo was Italian, but I guess we're rewriting history today. I don't know.
So
They obviously
they
use
were dressed
Canadian
in period.
actors. Yes.
they were in on scene in,
Yeah.
in the period location and everything else.
Right. Well, it was like a green screen, but like
But they just completely botched the voices completely, no accents.
well, not
you
even
know.
botched it. It's just they just didn't do anything
Didn't
at
even
all. It was
try.
just local actors just doing Galileo. Now, in their defense, I thought about it. I thought about it long and hard. Like I thought way more about this movie than I should have. When I got out, I was thinking, I guess you do it one of two ways. It's like you either embarrass yourself that way, or you try to do an Italian accent, and then you're like, "Hey, my name is Galileo, and you're coming in, and you're talking to me about this stuff." And so, yeah, I don't know if I could have done any better. I guess is what I'm saying. So I have to admit that.
At least they got you to remember the movie, and got you to think about it. So
I guess
We learned about the prior names of the telescope.
okay,
Yeah.
what are they?
Well, I don't think they made that up though. It's like what do you call it? Like the optic stick.
Yeah.
I want to call it the optic stick.
hole or something. I don't know. I don't remember. At the time, I remembered, but what happens in Canada stays in Canada. So.
Yeah,
As
we
it
don't
should
like to
be.
talk about it so much. Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Vancouver is nice. I love going there. For
Yeah.
sure.
That's what Portland wants to be.
So
Yeah. So now here's a weird thing that's going on right now. I heard about this today. I'm always the last to hear about everything because I just don't get out very much. But there's hurricanes
Except to
happening.
eat.
What?
Except to eat.
Oh, except to eat. I do. What are you calling me, fat?
You just don't leave the house for anything.
I don't. There's hurricanes happening. Like, where's it going? Like,
in
it's
the
going to
Northeast,
Maryland or
it's
like
going to, like
it's going like New York City
New,
and
New
shit.
Jersey, New York.
Okay, so first of all, like, how does this
Maryland.
happen? Like, do you have like, is it even called a hurricane when it's that
Yeah.
far north? Like,
It's Hurricane Sandy.
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 You can't be scared of a hurricane called Sandy. I hear something. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get the storm track.
Oh, I gotcha.
I'm on YouTube, but I'm looking at some guy that's standing in the ocean right now, and that's really stupid.
Right.
So yeah,
Well,
there's-
this is their first
there's
foray.
Sandy and Sandy storm track right there. So.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Coming
That's going to
from
be
the
quite
Atlantic.
all the way through. How is it going to like go through all of those states like that? Is it that big?
Hurricanes follow. You've lived in South Louisiana your entire life,
Right.
and you don't know that hurricanes follow a track.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, normally when it hits land, it disperses. But that's going through like 3 states once it like.
Those are
takes
really tiny
several
states, though.
days for a hurricane to disperse its full strength.
Well, hoity.
And then it's still a storm center, as it loses its convection or rotation or whatever they call it, and it's then still a storm mass that pushes through.
Mass. I don't like mass. So what's going to happen? What's the category? Like, what? How big is this thing?
I know.
It is a hurricane, though.
It's not hitting my coastlines. I
Obviously.
don't really fucking care, but if
Yeah.
I want to know.
Well, that's what I said to someone earlier today. They were like, "What do you think is going to be the difference between having a hurricane in the south versus having a hurricane in the north?" I said it won't be much different, except the fact that FEMA's actually going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Well, that, and I think people will probably freak out a little bit more
You think?
right now.
And if any
Yeah,
cities
because
get
what
flooded
happens in the
there,
south?
then,
There's a hurricane, you
there
have
won't be
hurricane
looting
parties.
and raping and murders and things like that.
Well, it's going to be hard to distinguish that from just a regular day in New York.
But I
you know,
think
so-
preparing for the hurricane, like it's in South Louisiana, I mean, you get together and buy a lot of booze and party through it. And I think that
Yeah.
in the Northeast, they're not too used to that. So I'm sure people are actually like sitting in their hallways with a flashlight, praying.
think? Well, I read something that said that they're concerned people aren't going to be leaving. Like people are going to refuse to
Because
like
they
leave
don't
their houses and
understand.
stuff.
They don't leave for anything like that. No.
See, here's the thing. I think something that actually it is no different between the north or the south is that people want attention. And I think that that's what this is going to be about. I mean, destruction, whatever, it's going to knock down this or that. But I think people are going to enjoy it because they're going to be able to get some attention. They're going to be like, hey, we had a hurricane.
Yeah. That's not too bad, though. That would suck.
Plus, in that area of the country
Those are
too,
real
when they
cities,
have
yeah.
bad weather, it's usually like bad freezes or things like
Mhm.
that. Then occasionally they'll have some storms, but they're always told to, buckle down, stay indoors, batten down the hatches, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So why would they evacuate? That's not what they normally do for storms. So.
Well, also, I mean, do you think it's really going to cause all that much damage? I mean, the thing is, normally the problem that we have in the South when I was living down there is like, our shit's made out of like sticks and dirt. Where if this kind of thing is going to come through New York City,
I think there's
What a
still like storm
big deal.
surges. And
Yeah, but they're not on the coast as bad as we are. So
right.
I don't know. We shall see.
I don't know.
Hurricane.
Maybe this is the beginning of the end. Maybe this is what the Mayans were talking about.
It is a little bit weird.
It's going to
It
wipe
is
out
strange.
New York and Washington D.C. in one fell swoop, and then the
Maybe.
rest of the country will collapse.
Maybe I'll convert. Maybe this is what's gonna bring me back from the dark side, so to speak. I'll be like, oh God, hurricanes in New York. Jesus must love me. We were talking about that the other day too. Like, wasn't it you that were just getting just all bent out of shape about the people that see up here in Seattle? I saw this a little bit down in San Francisco, but I've never seen it more prevalent than in Seattle. Is people will stand up on the overpasses and they'll like hold up signs, and sometimes they're political,
God.
and sometimes they're
Don't
like,
even get me started on that shit.
oh, I want to get you started on that.
Because you know what pisses...
Go
Why
for
the
it.
fuck can I get written up for a ticket, for flashing my brights at someone or something and distracting them on the road, or heaven forbid, wearing headphones to listen to my music, so I don't have to hear the traffic or hear the vehicle that I drive shake itself apart because it's that kind of a piece of shit. But
Is that illegal?
someone could stand on the overpass above the road where I'm going 75 miles an hour or whatever speed is a proper limit or whatever, and they can hang a 10-foot fucking banner, with a huge glowing eyeball with it shooting lasers directly into my field of vision that says
Tower of
praise God
Sauron.
or whatever their fucking message is, and their asses can't go to fucking jail for distracting me on the road.
Well, obviously
Why?
the message is getting to you. Then
Oh yeah, the message
they're
is
getting
to
your
me.
attention.
But if they did that on a billboard on the side of the road with flashing lights or whatever
Right.
and moving pictures and everything, somebody would complain and that billboard would get taken down. Doesn't
Well, I
matter
think
what
what
the
we
message
always
is.
talk about with it is it's like me reading that doesn't make me come to a realization that I never, thought
I've
about
never
before.
been.
I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with their message. I have a problem with the way they're doing it.
Yeah, billboards are
You can get up
always
there and
pretty-
you can put a fucking Amber Alert message on your
Very
bed sheet
true.
and hang it over the highway.
Very true.
It's still
I
dangerous.
don't fucking care. You're distracting me from driving, and I'm going to kill someone, and it's going to be your goddamn fault, and I'm going to go to your house, and I'm going to set it on fire, and I'm going to kill your dog.
Jeez.
Wow. That's probably the way they do it in Canada. Is there's actually useful things that go up on there. Amber alerts. Stock prices, whatever.
Even if they got
For
up
us,
there,
it's just like signs that say like "smile."
like
Like,
even if
that's
they got
it.
up there with a big bed sheet and says, "Pay attention, eh?" You're fucking distracting me by saying, "Pay attention, eh?"
Pay attention.
Right.
It's like, cut it out. Quit hanging shit over the highway. Get on the
Yeah.
side of the fucking road like every other goddamn red-blooded American and put your message over there so I can ignore it.
I don't.
There you go.
I never read signs ever.
I do because I'm always curious. I mean, obviously, I'm someone who's a proponent of the First Amendment right, free speech. I've got 3 microphones in my home here, but so I'm always reading. I always want to know what people are pushing. If for the only reason if for the only reason just to make fun of it or whatever, you know what I mean. But it's like, yeah, I think everybody should be pushing their agenda wherever they can. Whatever. My problem with this kind of thing, especially when it comes to like the religious messages, it's like has this I want to see the success rating of this. I want to know how many people have been converted to Catholicism by reading a sign over an overpass that says Jesus loves you. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm driving down this road and I'm just, life is horrible. I want to kill myself. I can't imagine how I'm going to go on living, and I see Jesus loves you. Oh, well, fuck, that's all I needed. Now I'm gonna go to church.
No, the fucking problem is their message isn't getting out to anybody. They're being drowned out on every other radio station, every other television station, on the internet, if they're smart enough to use the internet, because in the Bible it's an abomination to God.
Yeah.
But
Sort
so
of-
now they're
sort of.
resorting to hanging bed sheets over the fucking highway to get our attention.
Well, even when it's like the guy on the side of the road, like dressed in a tuxedo, for like in Louisiana they would do it, Norm's tuxedos. It's like, well, I just don't need a tuxedo right now. Like, you're doing a really good job,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I'm not gonna go and like rent a tuxedo because
Or even the guys on the side of the road, when you're in downtown or an industrial area, and they got the signs and they're shaking them. We buy your gold. Fine, no problem. You got a dancing fucking pizza over there to tell me that they got a pizza special. Great, no problem. I'm doing 35 miles an hour. I can handle your message jumping right in front of my fucking car. When I'm doing 80 fucking miles an hour on a 5-lane highway with 2 semi-trucks that weigh more than 5 times my own vehicle on either side of me, don't hang your bed sheet over my fucking rearview mirror.
Maybe that's the point. They know, they just wanted you to know that Jesus loved you the moment before you died. It's all a ruse. That's what it is. No, I feel that way about advertising, like, in general, though. Like, once, there's been one time, and you were there for this, there was one time where I saw a TV commercial for Pop-Tarts, and I said, I need Pop-Tarts right now, and I left the house.
like
and
11 o'clock at night.
I drove to the store, got some Pop-Tarts, and came back and munched on my Pop-Tarts.
Well-
That's the only time that advertising has ever worked, but I've never ever had a time where I've gone, oh, you know
Thank
what?
you.
I just want some Popeye's chicken right now.
Thank you for admitting that. Now you have fucking rolled back the fucking rock, and they'll never stop advertising Pop-Tarts for the rest of your fucking life. Thank you.
Well, but it was like a cute Pop-Tart that was like jumping into the arms of another Pop-Tart to make like a double flavored Pop-Tart. And
It was
And
a
the sweet Pop-Tart love in your mouth.
It was great. I think it was like birthday cake flavored or something
it
like
was
it was like
pretty
it was like
nice,
cupcake
actually.
flavored or it was
And
glorious.
aren't Pop-Tart flavors just getting out of hand now when they're like they've got like avocado and strawberry and like weird
ooh,
combinations
that's
of shit?
gross.
Am I the only? I can't
Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and brown sugar cinnamon, which by far is the best Pop-Tart ever.
Brown
made.
sugar cinnamon.
Brown
Brown
sugar,
sugar
yeah.
cinnamon. They should have stopped right there.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
It's-
and-
think
Well,
it's
I feel
all
the same
three.
way
When the
about
scientists
oatmeal.
came into the room and says, "We've got a brand new flavor," they should have shot that fucker in the head
Yeah.
and said, "Brown sugar cinnamon's already on the table. We don't need any."
I think they
flavors."
realized that too because I was at the grocery store the other day and I noticed that there are different types of Pop Tarts now, where like you've got like the lower fat, the whatever, like
Whole
there's
wheat.
yeah, that kind of thing. I noticed that the only flavor they make of that
Is the brown
variety
sugar.
is the brown sugar cinnamon. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know what their top flavors are.
Yeah, because you can't get birthday cake covered in fudge low fat. I don't know
Exactly.
if-
Look
The
at that.
only thing that,
That
they
would
made
work.
that made a little bit better was I think they did the brown sugar cinnamon with a graham cracker.
Are you kidding?
coating. Oh yes,
This exists?
this exists.
I want a
Okay, we're
Pop-Tart.
stopping the show right now, and we're all going in these.
It
That's
is 11 o'clock at
amazing.
night. Now would be the time.
Yeah, we did a late show tonight. We're ringing in the
This is
witching.
all very spooky, by the way.
Where well, it is. You know, they have spooky Pop Tarts too. Have you ever seen
Oh, my
those? They're
God.
like little like pumpkins on there. Oh, hi there. I think Tootsie's upset. She wants to go to bed.
I want
Yeah.
a Pop Tart.
You guys are doing the show too late tonight.
Set in her ways.
So what was I lose my train of thought in these things. What was I saying?
You were talking about advertising. on the
Advertising and
Pop Tarts.
how it just doesn't work on me. I just
highway. You need
don't.
to write your jokes down so you can keep track.
No, they just come out when I say them. You know, throw them against the wall, see what sticks. You know, that's almost everything that we needed to talk about. What else do we have to talk about? What's going on this week? You hurt yourself this week.
I pulled a muscle on my back. Yes.
That's no fun. How's that
No.
going?
It's better. You know, for a good night's rest. I took a good long walk today
Oh,
to
walking's
the
good.
grocery store and walked back with my groceries.
Mm-hmm. Were you instigated by any sort of advertising on the way on your
No,
walk?
but
Or
I made sure to
have you
put
found
my
Jesus?
headphones in before I left the store. That way, the quote unquote homeless people wouldn't bother me. Which
You don't
I
believe in
want
homeless?
proof. I
You
want
proof that
I
someone's
want them to
homeless?
have a government certificate made out in their name that declares them to be actually homeless.
Okay.
You know,
And
if
then what
they
would you do?
sleep anywhere in the city in a sheltered area, I'm sorry, you're no longer homeless.
Well, one
But
thing that was interesting last night is how quickly they move and can set up
Quickly they
shop.
move. Do you take aim at them? Is that how you know how they move? quickly?
No, like last night we went to see a show and we walked into the show
Oh yeah.
and there was no one there, and then we walked out of the show and there was a lady that looked like she had been there for like 3 weeks.
it was pretty crazy. Like it looked like
she wasn't just like sitting there. She
there was enough shit piled around
Yeah.
her that could have been like I thought I just didn't see her going in, but there was
But no.
absolutely no way I didn't see her going in.
It's
It-
all about
it's like a set.
theatrical. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny because our job is basically the same thing, except we sell a product. They're basically selling an image to to the public because they go in, they set all their props, all their homeless props.
Mhm.
Basically, they have their dog with one leg, which I'm sure that leg's the back of the car or something,
Oh.
and then and I swear to
Keep
God, they
those good.
set that up and they act like they're fucking homeless because you can tell that they're not.
It's not everywhere here, and I also don't think it's too bad here. I think it's just where we live. We're on that freeway corner where they hang out. So
Well, here's the
you see
thing.
it a lot.
I've experienced a lot of homeless folk. Because I moved here from San Francisco, so I spent a lot of time in San Francisco. So one of the worst like homeless issues in the world in San Francisco. Now, granted, the problem in San Francisco is that a good portion of the people who are homeless like want to be. It's very difficult to clean up the streets because like we do have kitchens and places like we do have what do you call it
You have a system set up to
yeah
aid
there are
them.
things in place that get people
yeah.
off the streets and give them a fresh start. But there's so many people who refuse that because it's
They'd have
it's
to
a very hippie city. I mean,
Yeah.
people want to live in the park.
They'd have to get a job, get an apartment.
Right.
They'd have to start paying taxes again. I can see the allure of becoming homeless and just basically disconnecting from society.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if
I
there
don't know
was,
if I do it in a city, but
well, I mean,
safety in numbers, I suppose.
yeah,
But anyway, what I'm getting at is a big difference that I've noticed about homeless in Seattle and homeless in San Francisco versus Seattle is they're just smarter here. There's less homeless in the Seattle area, I think, but they're smarter because one thing I noticed about last night when we were coming out of that show, it was exactly that. She wasn't there when we were going in.
Mm-mm.
She was there when we were coming out because she knows when that show lets out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
There
mean?
was a guy we saw. I don't
Yeah.
know where we were, but we saw when it was like coming into the lunch crowd or something. It was like 11:30 or something, and
Right.
he came in and set up shop right in front of wherever, and
Yeah, yeah.
almost it looked like he was like. If he had it, he would have rung a little punch card because he knew exactly what time to get started on his little job there.
Reminds me of the
And
the street musicians.
It
that,
really reminds me that these
yeah.
people this is a job for them. I mean, can't imagine how many people I see that I swear are coming straight from the college across the street, coming over here begging for a little beer money, and then going back to their dorm
Yeah,
room.
that's interesting. I'm
whatever
kind of,
works, I guess.
I don't know. I never know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Because I do. I mean, I feel for people who are homeless, and I don't want to be. I'm freezing right now. And so it's like I don't want to have to go through that.
Well, it's a very difficult
However-
problem because, like I said, in San Francisco, it was difficult to determine the people who wanted help and who didn't. I mean, yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm not making light of it at all. It's an issue, and there are people out there that need the help, but it's really hard to find the people who need and want the help when you've got a number of people just kind of like.
Let me
cheating.
clarify,
Well, that's what I
too.
was gonna say
It's like,
though.
yeah.
Was like I do feel for some people, but
Right.
there are probably also some that make more money than I do.
Exactly. See, that's what pisses me off.
Standing.
There are people out there that really need help. There are people out
Yeah.
there that really want and desire. I know for a fact. I mean, my mom grew up that way. She, once she got divorced, and she had me and my sister, and she could barely support us, and we lived in the projects for a while. We were very on tough times and things like
Yeah.
that. And there's people out there that want the help, that require it. And then there's other people out there that just ride on the system, and that's what pisses me off. Is that there are too many people that take advantage of it and are denying the help for others.
Yeah,
So
it's just how do you know? You know. So.
I have a
that's
great
why I
idea.
want them to have a certificate.
Right. I have a great idea of how you can get that message out.
Nah, how's that?
Well, you get yourself a big 10-foot banner.
And you
find a
stand on
banshee.
top of I-5. Oh man. Maybe we should just make a Halloween one.
What would it say though? What would be the classic message? Because it's got to be short and sweet. It can't be a big litany or anything. It's got to be
Yeah.
Stop being homeless.
Stop being homeless.
No,
That's
because
pretty-
then they'll think that you're advertising a way to stop being homeless,
Maybe.
and they're all going to come for you.
Just say no. You know, that worked. So
Yeah.
just stop being homeless.
Works for a lot of things.
Just get a house. Wasn't that that was a comedian's joke once, right? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, because that was Betty Ford's message to, was it Betty Ford? No.
She was the
not
drunk.
Betty Ford. She was the drunk. No, it was the president's wife. Reagan. Betty Reagan.
Nancy Reagan.
Nancy Reagan.
Oh,
Who's
jeez.
Betty? Anyway,
Betty
Nancy
Rubble.
Reagan came up with the whole slogan like, just say no for the drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. I forget whose joke this was. I'm
Well,
not
I
taking
mean,
credit
she
for this
didn't come
joke.
up
It's a
with it.
great
She
joke.
had a PR person that came up with
Right.
it who never got a cent out of it.
But he
you know,
was saying
whatever.
like, that like how that's oversimplistic. It's just like say, well, just get a house.
They could.
I guess.
Federal
You
subsidies
can make your
and HUD
own, I
housing and things
suppose.
like that. But
Well,
anyway,
I've seen,
there you go,
whatever.
started.
Okay. So anyway,
We
so we need to wrap it up now. So Halloween's coming up, and
Just say
Everyone
no.
be safe and remember, all the safety things, because now, even though we rely on technology a lot of kids, don't realize that Halloween is a dangerous time, and there is a lot of dangers in the candy that they get, and and the
Is there
neighborhoods.
though?
and
I
things like
find
that.
that's like such a wives' tale kind of thing. It's like
But see, there's always one person out there who's hoping that you think that, and then something bad does happen. So,
Who's
and
crazy?
we really have become a society that's been dependent on technology a lot. So you'll have the moms and dads with their GPSs, and they don't carry the flashlight anymore because they've got the little glowy screen and
Yeah.
things like that. So I
there's so many Christians in the world now. What do we got to be afraid of, really?
just saying that hopefully some of them will be.
That was a sarcastic remark.
I
is what
see.
that is.
Never.
So
I've
anyway,
been bothered by the Christians this week.
So next
Um,
week we'll talk about the crazy Halloween costumes that we've seen.
Yes. Until then, like I said, make sure, while it's lovely to sit here and ramble with my best friends, we do want to get some. You're looking around for who that might be, huh? We do want to get some guests in here. Like I said, we want to kind of build the show up, and the way we do that is with the good old-fashioned American moolah. And that's not going to come in until we get some notoriety here. So we need the likes, we need the comments.
the show will get better as you.
Now the comments are
Help us
important. Like I'm not afraid of negative comments. Believe me. Bring it on, because it gives me something to talk about. Maybe that's why I talk about the Christians so much, because I know they'll come back at me. I know they'll lynch me. Exactly.
Yes, well, 2 out of 3
No, the
was good,
comments
so-
help because we have kind of made the show a bit of just kind of a general idea. But if there's something that that you want us to talk more about, then say that. Because I'm seeing the number. Like I said, I'm seeing the numbers in. I know you guys are there, but you're being real shy about commenting, being real shy about saying what you like and what you don't like. So please do.
Well, most of our listeners don't speak English that well, so
There is that. There's all those Japanese folk. That's 2%. I think it's 2%. 2% of our audience is
2% of our
from
audience, oh, okay.
Japan. Yeah. So who
It's a
knew?
big deal.
Who knew? The internet. It's a wacky place. All right. So I guess you'll bring us out with our fancy scary music here. Should I go back?
at some point, yes.
I guess I should have saved it. Let's try a new one. Let's see what this is.
Do 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 do
Just
do do
hum.
do 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 do.
This is what happens when we're up too late.
Yeah, talk about it.
How about that one?
All right.
I can barely hear it, but
Oh no. You can't hear that?
I hear a buzzing in my ear.
All right,
Okay.
let's try another one then. I'll edit this out.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
It's like walking blobs or something. Kind of like oompa loompa doopa dee doo.
So this has been another edition of the Manguno Drive Show, special Halloween edition. We thank you for tuning in. Join us next week for a complete recap of everything
Everything.
slutty that Tony wore for Halloween.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. It is the Oompa Loompa thing.
Slutty tuna fish sandwich.
Is there that too?
You can do a little bit of